Hello.
It's 11 o'clock.
It is 11 o'clock, and we are here today to talk about Google Analytics and why you should be using it for your business. So, we do data driven marketing, right, Phelan?
You know it.
And, uh, and so, we wanted to kind of dig into why you use analytics for your marketing and talk about how we use analytics for our marketing. And like, have you ever wondered where people come from or what they're doing on your site? And do you look at that every month? I'd love to know um, what you think. Phelan, have you shared it in the Facebook group?
I'm doing that right now.
Oh, okay. So we use analytics for, well, everything. So every time we meet a client, what we say is our reports are a jumping off point. So to get you interested in what's happening. So we send that because the real detail is in the analytics. And so um, we spend a lot of time in there. You more than me, Phelan, I think.
Yeah, and especially on calls with clients because I'll have questions on. Like, I just had a client meeting yesterday where they were asking about why they had a large bump in their traffic, but no conversions. And so what we did is we used where the traffic was coming from, and then compared that against the city where the IP address was coming from,
Okay, tell me
and
more.
and then it revealed that there was a bunch of bot traffic that came out of China that just was coming to the website directly, but not doing anything.
Oh, I wonder why they got that.
It comes in waves. I mean, we have other clients that have that as well, where there'll be like yeah, something that was like the Wake Up Network, and it turns out it was like an ad to for their bot prevention services,
Oh.
and so which is not uncommon. I've definitely seen that a couple times where you're like, why do we have this giant spike in traffic?
Yeah.
And it turns out it was like a bot network that was trying to sell you on their bot prevention services.
We've had that too a long time ago. So,
Yes.
so when we figured that out for the client, was the client happy or were they sad that a lot of their traffic was fake?
They were happy that we could give an explanation to what the
Ah,
anomaly was. Right? It
okay.
wasn't they were upset or anything like that. It was just sort of it made sense why that had happened to them, and at least like we gave them answers. It wasn't just like a random like, well, we don't know, right? Like we'll have to look into it more. Like we could give them an answer straight away with the analytics. One of the other good things of why Google Analytics as a tool is provided that you're setting up your tracking correctly with Tag Manager and you've actually set up like UTM parameters. You can actually trace a lot of very valuable information from other platforms and get a better idea of your meta ads, how they're doing,
Okay.
provided that you put in like your tracking URLs, and then you can actually see it in the analytics, and so you can actually see, oh, did they actually take the action from my ads?
Yeah. So
Because
did it do what you wanted?
yeah, because Metapixel is not the best at actually tracking what users do on the site. They're just a very blunt instrument of was there a purchase event or not,
Mm.
and then other than that, they don't really tell you very much information.
So we want to look at it in analytics. We want, and we're seeing more Chat GPT or Perplexity in Google Analytics now, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean they're across the board. It's still, I would say it's rivaling Bing in the amount of traffic,
Hmm.
which is makes sense because it's mostly considered trying to be like a no click. It's only been very recent that they even had links to other stuff that then you could actually go visit the website because it
Mm.
would just kind of regurgitate back information to you.
Yeah. I like to say that Google Analytics is what happens. You can see what people are doing on your website, and Google Search Console is what happens before your website. But I think maybe Google Analytics is more like a report card of of your website, right? So,
Yeah. I mean, I would still describe it in those terms of like the search console is how you're being seen organically on Google, and your analytics are what's actually happening on your website. Because you can have multiple platforms on which you're driving traffic. Email marketing, Meta
mhm.
ads, Google Organic, right? All of those are completely viable ways to get traffic to your website. But what the analytics does is it kind of gives you, hey, which traffic is converting, right? Because that could be
Mm.
super valuable, Um,
And what are they doing? Like we put Microsoft Clarity on a lot of websites, and
yeah.
that can show us what people are specifically doing on the site.
Yeah,
So
a lot of so with the difference between Microsoft Clarity and Google Analytics is that you're seeing kind of individual journeys on a website in Microsoft Clarity, so it's screen recordings. Of course, they're like anonymized, so you can't tell like exactly who that person is.
hmm
Um, but it at least gives you some sort of it gives you kind of the why versus what, which is Google Analytics is a bit more of like this sales channel brought you this many users and they spent an average of this long on your website. They visited this many pages on average. So it's kind of
hmm
aggregating a lot of information based on different channels. Whereas like Microsoft Clarity is like, oh, see this individual's journey that took 10 minutes for them to go through the whole website.
yeah, and then you can see if there's issues or what kind of things people are doing. Like that'll help you with the conversion rate optimization, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So if you don't have your Google Analytics set up properly, you can't track what you want. And so that's why one of the first things you do or one of the first things you should do when you have a website is get your Google Analytics set up, get your conversion tracking all sorted, use those free tools from Google. Um, and then so we're going to want to see who is visiting the site, right? Like the number of people visiting the site and what they're doing, and then where they come from, which is your traffic source, right? We also want to
Yeah.
look at top pages. I think. What do you look at when you go into Google Analytics, Phelan?
So the first tab I go to is in it's under reports, and then you go to acquisition, and then traffic acquisition. That's the first one. And so you're going to want to have your conversions are now called key events.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's important about those is that you can kind of see, like, again, we're kind of seeing channel, how many people actually come to the website from that channel, like organic, Google organic, paid ads, or email marketing, just
And
as
that
a
can
couple.
tell you where to focus your attention, right? Like, or where are you
Yeah.
focused? And you can dig into the social channels, which specific social channel, right?
Yeah, and you can even do stuff of like adding your own UTM parameters to posts and stuff like that. So if you actually want to like track, hey, all of our posts that are related to such and such topic, you can add them as like a UTM campaign equals, and then have a specific name, and that can reflect in your Google Analytics.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of opportunities for you to just add additional tracking on individual campaigns, individual. Another one we do is with the ads. We have like a script that will just add the campaign, the keyword, all that stuff dynamically. So it just sort
Good.
of fills it in for each campaign. So it's a little less valuable these days because Google Analytics 4 doesn't actually allow you to track like UTM underscore content
Mm-hmm.
or UTM underscore keyword. They just don't have those as options anymore.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're bringing back some things. So they brought back the so where you can leave like a little pin. Say you did something dramatic and you want to see what it changed, or like yeah.
like
So that
annotations, right?
yeah, annotations. They also have annotations in Google Search Console now, so that's kind of interesting.
Yes, and which are really important for us to do retrospectives because it's sometimes hard to kind of like go back and be like, oh, what happened on this day? I mean, you could probably piece it together with context clues on like, oh, there's a big change in organic traffic in Search Console. Turns out
Yeah.
there was a algorithm update in September, and we just did well coming out of it.
Do you remember when we had that client with the chairs? We got our lovely chairs from them. Well, we bought them, I will say. But do you remember that we found that they deleted their most visited page on their website?
Yeah, well, and that's again goes back to why the data is so valuable. It's like to have a situation where, or the other one that I use as an example is that we had a client who was running their own meta ads, and we were running Google ads for them, and they
Mm-hmm.
were a jeweler, and it turns out that all their meta ads that they spent a couple $100 a month got them no sales from the regular e-commerce, but the Google ads was getting them like a 10 to 20x return because they were all the custom pieces that while someone was coming
Mm-hmm.
through, they only needed a few conversions, but those conversions were so valuable that we could show in the analytics that, you got 4 leads this month, and 2 of them converted, made way more than anything you spent on the ads or the Meta or Google Ads
Yeah.
combined.
So using analytics, and say doing SEO or Google Ads or any type of ads or organic, like any type of campaigns that you're working on, you'll be able to see that data in Google Analytics. And that should show you if, like, I mean, I love the idea that if I spend money on Facebook ads, I get to see the results in Google, right? Or if I'm posting all the time on Instagram, like, is it actually doing any good? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be situations as well. Like I just had this yesterday with the client that we were going through their analytics, and I they had a weird thing where their link in their Instagram was bringing traffic but not converting. But they had a weird post that was called IG/social. So the source was IG, Instagram, and then the medium was social, and that had to be manually set somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I brought it to the client's attention because it only got 4 people to the website, but every one of them converted.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was kind of pointing this out to them, that came out of the analytics. So this is why looking for what you usually see, and then also what's an anomaly. So what's showing up as a weird thing, and Google Analytics is really good for aggregating all that information of your website.
Yeah.
Uh, there's one other thing I wanted to bring up about this is because we're dealing with it again. That same client also had a lot of self referrals, and it was because they used the Jane app, which is like a booking calendar for medical
Mm.
stuff, and so people would book
In
multiple
Canada.
sessions. Yeah, in Canada, it's specific to Canada, but they
So
would
it
book
follows
multiple
the
sessions.
PIPA laws, or are they PIPA laws
Pip-
here?
Pipeda,
PIPEDA.
Pipeda.
Okay. So that's why people use the Jane app, but the Jane website, so you can only see conversions properly if you use a Jane website as well. However, we found a workaround, didn't we? So we could count um, what actually happens from people going from ads to the Jane app.
Yeah, we found a solution and it works pretty well. It even works with Google Ads for counting multiple sessions, because generally we try to count it just the one time. But Google Ads, we can even have it sorted on that side that we can actually do some better tracking with it,
Hmm.
which is nice. Uh, and then the other thing that you might want to watch out for is that it will do a lot of these systems, like your Typeforms, your Jane app, any of these kind of booking calendars that are kind of have their own setup and on their own
Yeah.
domain can tell you that, oh, you got a conversion, but it won't tell you the meta text around that user. It just has the one event go off.
Oh.
Um, and so it's like, oh, you had an appointment booked, but it's like, where did that person come from? Doesn't tell you where they came from, doesn't tell you how long they took on the website, doesn't tell you if they've done multiple trips. So a solution you'll have to do is look into things like external thank you page,
Hmm.
and then embedding the code on your website so you can follow. You may not know exactly who they are or when they booked exactly, but at least you could see that they made it to an embed page, and then they made it to a thank you page. You could track that journey, and that will
Okay.
still tell you some more information about where they came from on their journey. Uh, it's a bit annoying to set up, and you have to test it, but it's better than nothing.
So, and do you see a lot of when we set up Google Analytics? Some people have like Google Analytics set up from, like somebody said, I'll just add the analytics tag, and they're probably like the web dev because they're being really nice, you know. But
Yeah.
they don't configure anything, do they? Usually, and you need to configure your account um, to track those leads properly, right?
Yeah, so there's some configuration. There's also, like I talked at the start, using Tag Manager to set up a Google Analytics for events, and then turning those events into key events. Um,
Inside
those are also
analytics.
going to be, yeah, it's super important. And key events are more relevant than they've ever been to kind of go because if you go under advertising and then attributions and paths inside of Google Analytics, you can see if someone takes multiple steps, which, I mean, pretty much
Really
every website
helpful.
we look at, there's going to be multiple touch points. Um, and so you can kind of see where's the first point of contact, where's the last point of contact. And so that could also kind of fill in like the funnel journey for someone.
Yeah.
Um, it's super common for like things about education where they have like tons of coming back to the website because they're usually big ticket items that are big life changing events, and so you should expect to kind of see multiple steps in that kind of
Yeah.
funnel.
Well, and it proves that concept of like people don't, you know, there's not one way people get to your website, and everybody's different how they travel through the journey of your website. But if you can see like where people fall off, like maybe you don't have a call to action or something on a page, or and you want to account for where people enter, where they fall off,
Yeah,
how long they spend. So engagement duration. We don't use the bounce rate anymore. So with people clicking the back button, and I'm not sure if people do that. So I mean, you do when you don't get what you need right away. But
yeah,
I think the way people are searching is changing. And so I think what we'll see in analytics will be changing too, right?
yeah. I would say that strong likelihood of that, like you kind of touched on about ChatGPT and the AI tools kind of becoming more and more prevalent as people use them more and more day to day to kind of search things. I think that that's going to change some things because it's just not going to have as much attribution. Um, of course, there's going to be a certain level of like, if I'm hiring an electrician, I'm still going to need to fill out a contact form or call them in order for me to get them to come to my house, right? At the end of the day, I
Mm-hmm.
can look up what are the top electricians in Duncan. I'm still going to need to call one of those people, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're focused around like what is the thing you're offering to people, and then that ties into them not just looking up people like you, but actually taking action on your website.
Yeah.
Uh,
And like filling out that form or contacting them.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And this also kind of ties back to something you were asking earlier about of one of the reports that after traffic and acquisition, if I'm really trying to like do a deep dive, especially for low conversion rates, what I'll do is I will take the landing page report and then compare that against pages report. And then
Okay.
especially looking at the conversion. So you may get some people that land on a certain page but convert on a different page. And
Okay.
so I want to be tracking that bit of information if I'm really trying to pull apart like conversion rates,
Yeah.
because that might tell me that, hey, I'm driving a lot of traffic to like maybe a blog post that's about a certain topic, but it needs them to go to another page in order for them to convert. Well, that tells me that I should probably have a clear call to action on the page, and especially one that's whatever the other call to action that they converted on. And so that kind
Okay.
of tells me that like I should be shortening that journey, right? Because there's going to be obviously some fall off of people if they need to go to another page and I'm not catching it before then that's a bad sign for me.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing you can do is because everything is an event in the Google Analytics for now,
Hmm.
you can, and we do have to do this, set up, convert, like, we can set up a targeting list for people who have watched like, 25% of videos on like or 50 or 100% of the videos, right? We can do
Yeah.
retargeting campaigns because those can become their own audiences.
Yes, and specifically how that what you would want to set up is if this event triggered but this other event didn't trigger, so they watched a video to 50% but did not fill out the contact form on that page, that's a retargeting list I would like to have, right? Like
Yeah.
those are people because it's even more targeted that, yeah, they watched the video but they didn't convert.
And they're interested in the topic then. If somebody watches 100% of a video and it's like a longer video, I mean, they're a better target probably for you than somebody who never even watched the video.
Yeah, or even like 50 to 75%, right? Like, it kind of shows that they were sticking around. They weren't just like watching the first little bit and then they're like, yeah, this is kind of boring,
Yeah.
right? They fall off
And
pretty quick.
you do have to connect YouTube and Google Analytics together, right? I
For
believe you
the
can.
video watching, well, that's. So there's if you embed a video on your website, you can track that through Tag Manager
Yeah.
if they watch a certain length, and so that's just part of your Google Analytics. So you don't even necessarily have to connect your YouTube, but there are ways to do it within YouTube that it's like people that aren't subscribers but watched a video 50%. You can make that an audience to then target in Google Ads, and that audience is then built in the Google Analytics. I know it's kind of a weird multi-step
Well,
way
this
to
is
do
why
that.
you attach your assets together. So we attach Google Search Console to Google Analytics, and we attach Google Analytics to Google Search Console. So it's like kind of a double, like it's, makes it more circular, I guess. But that's how you attach things from both sides, and that makes them work better together. And there are some things we don't attach, like because we don't use any 360 stuff, right?
Yeah, but it's very rare to see people using the 360 stuff. It's just it's that's a Nike or Coca-Cola type of product.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh that like, you have to be spending millions in your ad budget to like make it make sense.
Yeah.
Most people on I think that's like top 1% of Google Ads users are 360 people at all. They're just
Hmm.
very rare cases, but in general, a lot of the city, the basic version is what most people are going to use,
Hmm.
and it's what most people probably use most of their lifetime. It's very rare to see 360 stuff getting used, so don't
Yeah.
stress about that. But there's also other cool opportunities as well. Of one you didn't mention is also the e-commerce functionality, right? As
Hmm.
Google has put in a lot of effort to kind of compete with Amazon and Meta, they've really built out a lot of the e-commerce functionality and how the analytics connects with your shopping, your merchant center slash shopping tab, and your Google Ads, and how all of those are interoperable now, as
Hmm.
well as your Google Business Profile and your and Merchant Center and YouTube. Those all actually now interconnect through analytics to kind of share information. And so, definitely, if you have e-commerce, definitely do that, because there's a tab in your Merchant Center that once you connect your Google Analytics for, it can do tracking of people that don't even make it to your website but are strictly staying in the Google Shopping tab,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
that
oh,
gets
and we
reflected
also
back.
have. Sorry, I'll let you finish. What did?
Oh, no, it's all good. Go, go.
um, we also have a client who, because there are only two CRMs, I think that you can attach in Google Analytics to do the whole path through. Is that right?
Yeah,
And I think it's Salesforce and HubSpot. And
they've built the native integrations. Yes.
yeah, and we see that in Google Ads. And once you connect it, you can see the whole journey, down to like, a sale.
Yeah, and it even reflects the value of the sale, right? So if they, so by connecting your Google Analytics to HubSpot, and even more so to the Google Ads, it'll track like conversion value. And so, like, we just saw that all of a sudden that the client could actually see, hey, this campaign actually made you $4,000, when we thought it was underperforming, but it turns out it was the people that were going through it actually completed the rest of the funnel and then made it out the end, and that it could reflect that value back. And so that made the Google Ads look much more complete.
And more
Uh,
valuable, right? That information is so valuable. Um,
yeah.
if you
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that costs a little bit of money, because if you're using the CRM tool for HubSpot, it mean you would have to pay probably for that connection or something of the like, right?
My understanding is it's on a weird tier. Like HubSpot's weird on how they tier like everything. It's too big now, and so like every little thing is a little add-on. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's insanely expensive, but
Where did I see that?
it's not
I
free.
saw that in the mastermind, mastermind.com, where like they just were trying to sell things inside their program, and I'm like,
Mm.
man. And they had too much. Like, I think they'll lose a lot of business because after the first year, because I don't think they've set it up to really help people with some of the fundamental elements of connecting and attaching things. Because they've
Oh,
launched like a go high level type of thing in the background, but that's besides the point.
and you're talking about the mastermind.com people?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I could definitely see that. I feel like you can kind of
Bloated
overcomplicate.
systems.
Yeah, overcomplicate things, and it's better to right now. Everything is just a lot of stuff is overbuilt. I find,
Mm,
and it just needs to be pared down to like actually doing like fixing pain points and really
mm,
focus in on that. And I think that they're more just going for features to make money than it is like things to help
yeah.
people do do business and do it better.
Right? So we're almost out of time. So the things that we want you to remember are with Google Analytics, who's visiting, where they came from, what they look at, and if they like what they see. And if they're doing what you want them to do, right, on your website. And we know that there's been a lot of changes in the market with
Yeah.
all search and social, right? Everybody's, it's just, it's just the fastest with the AI stuff. But we, so we're paying more and more attention to the data driven metrics to make better decisions for our clients or help them make better decisions for their business. So if you're interested in that, yay. Were you going to say something, Phelan?
Nope.
Oh, we are in the next couple weeks, y'all. We're gonna, it's the end of the year, so we only have two more Geek Speaks until the new year, and they are going to be so much fun. So, of course, we're gonna do a year in review, I believe,
Yeah.
and just talk about the year. So, we'd love you to come to that. So, next Thursday and the Thursday after. Next Thursday, I think Phelan is you and I.
Yeah, I
And
think
we're
it's us planning for the next year, and then the
Yeah,
one after that
next
is
year planning.
reflecting on this year.
Yeah, so much fun. We do it every year. We'd love for you to join. The other thing is, come January, we are launching our Google Ads live training. So if you're
Hmm.
interested in that, message us. Um, and maybe we can get you a deal, you know. But anyway, next week we're talking about a year, not a year in review, but planning. Phelan, are we doing planning?
Yeah, we're looking at what we looking at doing, why we're looking at doing that. All the kind of looking forward to the year. Of
Yeah,
course, we're expecting big changes in the plans to almost immediately get thrown out, but that's the way
yeah.
the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, you got to, we don't know what tomorrow brings, so we always have to be able to adjust our
Hmm.
time and what we're doing by looking at the facts, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we will see you all next time. Oh, we have 3 more minutes. We're so groovy. Groovy.
Yeah. I thought that was a little premature, but yeah,
I know. Sorry. I got excited about the like. Oh my gosh, let's go do other work. I know a lot of us are planning on updating our websites and figuring out how to get on the LLMs like
yeah,
ChatGPT. I want to show people how to make their own ChatGPT if they haven't. I also want to show people and learn how to make my own gems, which is in Gemini, which is in the Google Workspace, which is um, I think they kind of have Gemini in Google Analytics, but they're calling it like Analytics Assistant or something. What are they calling it?
yeah.
Analytics
It's
Advisor.
which actually isn't a bad
Yeah,
thing.
not
The more
bad.
I've learned about LLMs is that they're a large language model, not large math models.
Mm.
They don't do math so good because they're not designed around math; they're designed around language.
I do really like the agents. I do really like the agent help.
Hmm.
Having, I've built a couple things and all the vibe coding that's going on too, right? Like we'll see where that goes next year. But yeah. Oh, last thing before we go, because we're still talking analytics, even though we went off on tangents. Um, Analytics now has a benchmarking tool, which I thought was really neat. So when you go, I think when you go to your home screen, it gives you in the right hand corner, like, hey, you can benchmark this, or I think on your home screen, yes, that's where I
Yeah.
saw it. And it's got like a little wavy kind of thing with stars, looks like a Harry Potter scar or something. And you can that'll give you some insights, but you can also do benchmarking. I can't find it now, of course, but yeah. And we're trying some really interesting things, and actually, it's made our website traffic go up. So we'll talk about that at the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I think that benchmarks always taken with a bit of a grain of salt because you're assuming that everyone is like properly encoded themselves going in when they do
Hmm.
industry wide benchmarks and stuff like that. So, uh,
Yes. So there, the benchmarking is not just for yourself, but it also compares you to your peers in the industry.
yeah.
So that's pretty neato, mosquito. Okay, and now we're out of time. So we'll see you next week. I'm Pep Seymour Digital Media.
And I'm Phelan, also with Seymour Digital Media.
Bye, guys.
Uh,
Uh, uh, uh. Now we try.